Hello, in this video we are going to explore the functionality of modules inside Python. And module, what it is actually just lines of code that can be used later for another purpose or for not to repeat ourselves our codes. And modules in Python are called functions. So those functions, what it does is specific tasks with a specific set of steps that can actually do something for us. For example, let's remove this for a minute. How we define a function is with the def keyword, the name, we open parentheses, colons at the end, and then the steps that we need to do indented inside the function. If we try to actually compile this or run it, we'll not do anything at all because we are not calling the function. A function is defined with the def keyword, name, open close parentheses, arguments inside, we are going to see that later, colons, and the steps indented. It's really important. If you want to execute it or call it, we just put the name of the function with the arguments that need to be passed. In this case, it's nothing. So now that we call it and we save it, if we run again, it's going to be executed. Perfect. We are printing hello, asking for a name, saving in the name variable, and then printing the greeting with the name at the end. It's working. So if we want to do this several times, we call the function several times, and we can have one run and then another one. And this is actually how you actually call a function, and working with the definitions and how to call it. But we have variable in there. Let's talk a little bit about variables. The variables function are a little bit different. We have several types of variables. Those variables are globals and some are local, and are defined by the scope of how the program is going to be executed. Let's say by example, we have a name variable outside called CITP 3305. We have the say hi function, the same that we had before, that's printing hello there, defining name with the name, and then printing that greeting. And then the step of execution is printing the name, say hi, and printing the name again. So what will happen here? Let's find out. So we're printing CTP 3305 because whole name is actually defined. So this is what is getting executed. Then the function, and this is waiting for the name. Let's give it Rodolfo. Nice to meet you, Rodolfo, and the name of the class again. So the scope of this name is different than this scope. Whatever happened to this name inside the function is really different what is happening with the name outside the function. That is why the name, the root of the execution that is here is having this name over there, printing, and have this name over here. What happened is we don't have actually a name here and we try to execute it. We have an error because in the root we cannot access to a variable inside the function. That's why we need to define it outside. But how we are actually doing that the function change our global variables? Well, we use it with the global word and the name of the variable. This is what I'm doing is telling the function that go and look in your parent for the main variable and apply the changes here whenever you need to do it. So we execute again. we see CITP 3305, how we define it. We print Rodolfo, and then we see Rodolfo again. What happens here with the global variables? So there are different scopes, local scopes and outside scopes. This scope can actually have variables inside the function, and with the global we can actually affect variables that are outside the function. Okay. Arguments. Arguments are actually what can happen or how to send a value to a function to do a specific task. Sometimes most of the time, it's actually better to send a specific number or specific argument in order to do a specific task instead of using global variables. So what happened with this function that we have defined over here? We have the function sum that is accepting two numbers, number 1 and number 2. These are local variables names. So we are defining local variable names for this function. And we are telling it, okay, the local variable total is going to be equal to the sum of the two numbers that are going to be passed. And it's going to print the total. What is happening here? So when we call sum 1 and 2, we will have 3 as the result, and we're printing 10 plus 10, 200, sorry, we have 210 as a result. Let's see that. And if we do again sum 5,5, we see a 10 in there. So what we're doing is this will call the function, sending these two variables to numbers, and those numbers are sending as variable locally and executed with a specific task and then printed. This is actually how you pass arguments to the function. But we can pass not only numbers. Let me comment all this out. And let's say that we want to define a function called decorate. And what it does actually is accepting a variable called text, and then we do print. Let's print a bunch of stars. Print the text and print a bunch of stars again. What this function does, pretty much printing stars, printing the text that we provided, and then printing the stars again. So we're in this example like decorating actually the function. So we can call it like this, decorate Rodolfo. So the text is sent, it print the stars, print the text, and print it. And we can actually call it several times. And all the text that we pass are getting decorated in the output. So we learned what is a function, how to define it, how to call it. We learned about variables inside, outside, global variables, and how interact between them. We learned how to actually send arguments for a specific number or even for text and what we can do. But let's go to a little bit more complex, just a little bit. I call it inception. Let me do a little bit smaller so we can see everything. So I have several functions here. We are familiar with the decorate function that we saw in the last file. And this decorate function, what it does is exactly the same. We send a specific text that is going to be printed between two lines of stars. We have the add function that is accepting two numbers, calculating the sum, but the output is sending to decorate. What this means that a function is calling another function. We're having a rest function that is accepting two numbers, making a rest, and it's sending the total to the decorate function. So we have another function called a function. But at the end we have a calculations function that accepting two numbers, and this number, what it's doing is calling the add function and calling the rest. We are defining two numbers that are going to be input by the users. Give me a number, give me another, and then it's going to execute the calculation. So the flow of this program is like this. These are functions that are defined, they are not being executed yet. So it's going to ask for a number, it's going to accept the input, convert it to a number, and store it in a number1 variable. Then it's going to ask for give it another number, waiting for the input, save it as integer, and assign it to number2. Remember, the inputs in Python are always text, that's why we need to change it or parse it as integers. And then we send the calculations. So we're going to calculate, we're going to add, it is going to go to the add, we're going to the total calculation, send to decorate, it's going to decorate, print the total of the sum. It's going to exit because it's finished. Because it's finished, it's going to exit, it's going to return to calc. This call is already in, so you're going to start executing this one. So you go inside the rest function and do the calculation, go inside the decorate function, print the output of the rest, and then you're going to exit, you're going to exit, and you're going to exit. Let's do print the end. Let's execute this. It looks complex, but you're going to see that it's actually really simple. Inception. So we give you a number, let's say 5. Give you another, let's say 3. The sum is 8, the rest is 2, and then the end. In order to understand a little bit, let's decorate. And here let's send, and execute it in. So we give it, let's say 8, 2. Oh, we are sending 2 arguments instead of ones. So we can actually do text equal to this, and we send text text equal to this, and we send text. What happened is I was sending 2 arguments to a function that only said once. Let's execute again. So 8, 2. Say the sum is 10, the rest is 6. End. So I accepted the numbers, go to the calculations, go to the add, decorate the text, returning, doing the rest, going to rest, do the calculations, decorate the output, returning, and printing the end.